Hi, my name is Evan Shump, and I'm here today to share with you my persuasive speech on suicide among college students. I thank you all for coming, and I hope you enjoy. Do you remember how excited you were to start college? I do. I was ready to spread my wings and fly away from the nest, something I was always encouraged to do while growing up. Go explore, my mom would say, get an education. You can take it everywhere you go, and no one can ever take it away from you. I am now entering my senior year of college. I have stretched, grown, expanded my horizons, left my comfort zone. You get the picture. It has been an experience filled with contradicting emotions, excitement and exhaustion, happiness and anxiety, success and stress. They have nearly always come hand in hand. I've learned that this is typical for most college students. Another, more unexpected part of my college experience, but average nonetheless, have been the emails from the dean notifying me of a student's death and later hearing through the grapevine that they have taken their own life. The current rate in which college students are committing suicide is way too high. College is supposed to be the best years of your experience, and yet 1,000 students across the United States are taking their life every year. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among college students, only behind motor vehicle accidents. The following statistics might be staggering to some, but it is essential to know the facts. Studies show that 1 in every 5 college students have common suicidal thoughts. Also, more than 50% have admitted to having suicidal ideations at least once. The consequences of these suicides leave a negative effect on many left behind. The 1,000 students who kill themselves every year leave 1,000 families in complete shambles. These suicides also have a negative effect on universities nationwide. Suicide is an ongoing problem across college campuses, and it can no longer be ignored. The current problem is so severe that the numbers of students who commit suicide every year has tripled since the 1950s. Every day you hear on the news of events like this. College kids who seem to have everything they want and need in the world, but suddenly end their life in the blink of an eye. I read a story not too long ago that stood out to me. The story was about Jessica Mards, who was 19 years old at Purdue University. Jessica was a student at the university's School of Electrical and Computer Engineering and held a 3.8 GPA. Last September, she went to the 10th story of her apartment complex and jumped out the window. Stories like these are much too familiar and is an ongoing problem that shows no signs of slowing down. An example of a specific case of the ongoing problems occurred at Utah Valley University. In the 2017-2018 school year, Utah Valley University experienced a traumatic year, a year in which I'm sure many will never forget. 3 of their students committed suicide within a 4-month span. These suicides leave families and universities in shambles long after the death has been determined. Learning the reasons why students feel the need to take their own lives is essential to overcoming the current suicide numbers we face today. Because if we don't, many more families and universities will feel like the ones you see in the photos here next to me. High stress is the leading cause of suicide among college students. Stress brings on many symptoms such as anxiety, restlessness, lack of motivation, depression, and feeling overwhelmed. Stressful events that college students face every day are defined as traumatic or difficult to handle. Such examples include academic pressure, career issues, a death of a family member or friend, family problems, intimate and other social relationship problems, financial stability, health problems, personal experience, and difficulty sleeping. Over 75% of college students have experienced one of these events within the last year. Also, 1 out of every 5 of those students admitted to experience 6 or more of these events in the past year. Many college students who have experienced a stressful situation like these say they are directly linked with their mental health problems, like thoughts of harming themselves and suicidal ideations. The majority of college students who commit suicide have untreated psychological disorders. 95% of college counseling center directors surveyed said that the numbers of students with significant psychological problems is a growing concern in their centers on campuses. And 70% of those directors believe that the number of students with severe psychological problems on their campuses have increased within the past year. These statistics are according to the Association for University and College Counseling Center. Examples of mental disorders among college students are high anxiety levels, depression, and bipolar disorder. Diseases like these can have a severe negative effect on one's academics, social skills, and confidence. A study of college students found that 50% of women and 40% of men reporting experienced episodes of overwhelming anxiety in the past year, and 33% of women and 27% of men reported a period in the last year of feeling so depressed it was difficult to function. Between a quarter and one-third of students meet the criteria for an anxiety or depressive illness during their college experience. The sad part about students who have had these psychological disorders and decide to commit suicide is that some of them could have been helped. Some college students are just too proud or ashamed to admit they have a psychological disorder. To back up this theory, here's a shocking statistic for you. Over 50% of students who have had suicidal ideations in the past admit that they had never mentioned it to anyone before. Not every student who has suicidal ideations attempts suicide, but 1.5 out of every 100 students are still trying to kill themselves every year. As a college student or someone who is a parent or a friend to someone attending college, it is vital to be aware of the statistics and many circumstances that lead to suicidal thoughts among those who currently attend college. Suicide is a serious issue among college students that cannot be overlooked anymore. There are many solutions out there to help decrease the amount of suicides committed by college students around the United States. A large-scale solution that should be put into action is during orientation, first-year students at every college in the country need to learn how to recognize warning signs of suicide, how to engage a person in distress empathetically, and how to ask directly about suicide. Students, as well as staff and faculty among colleges, need to be aware that suicide is preventable, and one of the ways that we prevent it is by encouraging students who are struggling with depression and anxiety to seek help early. Next, more on-campus suicide prevention programs should be established. The establishment of more safe places for students with suicidal ideations, the better. Along with the establishment of more prevention programs, every college needs to hire more counselors. Students need to feel like they are never alone and need to be able to get help whenever necessary. On a lot of campuses today, students have to make appointments sometimes weeks in advance. This solution leads to problems being addressed right then and there, instead of the increased risk of the student maybe seeing suicide as the only option. Studies show that individuals who attend counseling have a 26% lower chance of committing suicide. So you might ask, how can we help? If you're in college or know someone who is currently attending college, be aware of the facts I have shared with you today. It might save someone's life someday. Along with being knowledgeable about the facts, recognize the warning signs, know the risk factors, and if needed, seek help. Information is power, so having the vital information is key to overcoming these obstacles. 4 out of every 5 students who committed suicide showed warning signs. Some key warning signs include an individual talking about feeling hopeless or having no purpose, talking about how they are a burden to others, one acting anxious or agitated consistently, an individual sleeping too little or way too much, and those who isolate themselves from others. If you know someone with one or more of these symptoms, then possess the skills to solve the problem. Being an individual who has skills in problem solving, conflict resolution, and handling problems in a non-violent way might save someone's life. The more people who are aware of the information regarding college suicide, and those people having the ability to accurately assess the warning signs, the more the suicide rate in college students will plummet, and it will give many students a better chance of being saved. The amount of students who commit suicide in college is currently unacceptable. However, moving forward, I believe that these numbers can be drastically decreased. Suicide is a complex health issue that has a severe effect on college students all across the United States. 1 out of every 5 students consider suicide. And as I mentioned before, the suicide rate has tripled since the 1950s. and it shows no signs of slowing down currently. Suicide rate among college students are way too high, and every single one of us in this room can make a difference. Whether if it is seeking help you need personally or being aware of others around you who are struggling to cope with college life. For those out there who are having these thoughts, you are not alone. Do not keep this vital information to yourself. Many steps can be taken to help you. Suicide doesn't solve anything. It does not put an end to the chance of your life getting worse, but it does eliminate the possibility of it ever getting better.
Thank you.